And finally tonight, a wake-up call about coffee. The price of coffee beans plunged this year, but the cost of that cup of joe barely budged. Big coffee sellers who have been brewing up higher profits all year long say there's a good reason for that. Kate Kelly explains.
Coffee's had a rough time this year, at least in commodity markets where contracts pegged to the value of beans grown around the world trade. Thanks largely to oversupply from Brazil, an important source, commodity prices have dipped almost 20% so far in 2013, and some traders think we are either at or near a bottom. Partly as a result, shares of the big coffee sellers like Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and Green Mountain have rallied huge. But they didn't pass those savings on to consumers, at least not all of them. Statistics show that in the U.S. alone, the price of coffee fell only about 7% in the average city, and some coffee drinkers are a little upset by that.
It's a little frustrating, obviously when you buy a lot of coffee from places like McDonald's, Tim Hortons, Starbucks, big chains, and they're getting it cheaper and you don't see anything, it's a little upsetting.
We're a big coffee culture now. Lots of people drink coffee, lots of people like it. So if there's a market there and people are buying it, then they don't need to compete with prices.
You're welcome.
Mike Nugent, who trades coffee and other agricultural commodities, says to consider the process involved with buying large quantities of coffee beans in the first place.
When you go to buy your cup of coffee, you say, well, gee, coffee prices are at multi-year lows. How come the price is not going down? That assumes that the coffee in your cup was purchased the day before yesterday. It wasn't. It may have been contracted 2 to 3 years ago at a higher price. It may have been stored for years and financed for years.
Perhaps that explains what Dunkin' brand supply chief Scott Murphy meant when he said to me that for next year, Dunkin's many franchisees have locked in coffee prices that will bring stability and favorability to their markets. What that means for the average Joe, however, is not exactly clear. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Kate Kelly in New York.